Whitman Finance Committee meeting for December 10th, 2024. We will begin. We have with us this evening, we've got Mike Andrews, Al Caffrey, Chuck Colby, Mike Flanagan, Jason Hunter, and myself, Michael Warner. Kathleen is still out on her leave, and I haven't heard back whether Ralph will be able to make it this evening or not. We'll see. So we have our quorum, we're ready to go. Tonight's business, just so everybody knows, reserve fund is still at $35,000. We have confirmed that, by the way, with the town administrator, so that's, if we have any bills come in, we have funds to be able to pay them with. This evening, we have the fire department with us, or Fire and Emergency Services. Actually, you guys are more than just fire department now. They keep growing your job there. And then after that, we'll go back into other old business committee reports, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, let's run it.
Yeah, so I know we sent one out. I've updated one. And just so everybody's hitting from the same side of the ballot block. What I did is we got two requests originally. One was for level funded, no step raises, and then we got one that was level funded with step raises. And I did the one with level funded because they're all in negotiations. We have no idea where we're going to end up, right?
Right.
Level funded with the step raises because I don't see the step raises going away. Just to be brutally honest. So we'll jump right into it.
What are the step raises?
So contractually, they have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 step in, and then time, more or less years of service, incremental increase on years of service.
Oh yeah, it'd be so awful that it's taken away.
I don't think it will.
We'd be losing people.
If I was to take a guess, I would say that that's not good. So the very first page of the packet that's been amended up. So the chief, the deputy chief. Those were all contractual. So the clerical, we'll talk about that at the end. That is based upon the non-union employee getting the 2.5%. That's a 2.5% for my administrative assistant. We're going to talk about that, along with the EMA part-time. So Amy does dual role. She's my administrative assistant. And like I said, before, I'm going to talk about this at the end. But she also does the emergency management at the for the town as well. You're going to see the expense of $260, and then, oh, hey, Amy. That's Amy. Amy. Gang, Amy.
Urgent ears burning as you walked out.
So just to go through it quickly, though, expenses at $269. Sprinkler alarm and fire alarm maintenance is $15,000. And people have always asked, what is that? We actually pay for the service and the maintenance of all the fire alarm systems and all the sprinkler systems in the town of Whitman out of the emergency management line. So that's what we factor in. And these are the buckets that we made. The forest fire, $2,000, the whopping $2,000. For those of you who don't know, we have a 1986 military surplus vehicle that's on death's door pretty regularly. I was able to write a grant, and we're getting a new forestry truck. I signed the contract April 16th, and it's guaranteed without penalties in 400 days. So we should see it this spring.
And in light of what has been happening in our area, that could very well be something that we might need, huh?
Yeah, I didn't print out the capital stuff, but I'll talk about some of the capital articles. We'll touch on it at the end. And that's one of the things that's in there. Ambulance repairs and maintenance, we've gone up to $40,000. I used to do $10,000 in ambulance for the three of them. It's not enough. Yeah. We do have a new ambulance coming, but still in the big picture, a couple of them are old. And I hate to say this, but they have me. Like if I show up for a fire truck repair, I just had a fire truck repair. If I was able to buy that part from just what being required, but not from a specific deal, but from Cummings in general, the part was like $350. Because I had to buy it from a fire truck manufacturer. It was a lot more than that. A lot more than that. Armory building maintenance, ambulance billing 47. That's up, and I'll tell you why. We increased our ambulance rates. We did an evaluation, and our ambulance billing rates were low, so we adjusted them. They went up, but conversely, even though I negotiated a contract, we pay less of a percentage. By increasing the rates and the call volume, our expenditures are going out. And I'll be back at the end of the year because we're on track to spend more money in that line this year. Yep. Just because we increased the rates and we didn't compensate for that. But that's that. Armory building maintenance, 12.5. I'm actually trying to give that to the facilities guy, but that's for the normal stuff, and that's a good thing right now because I have roommates, and we're sharing the Armory with the DPW,
Right.
and the DPW is picking up a lot of the expenses because they had a line.
Good,
for
yeah.
that. So that's a good thing.
fair, yep.
We got some more things to do there. Holbrook Regional Dispatch this year is $92,881. That is a contractual agreement with the Regional Dispatch Center.
Yep.
I actually sent the contract in last week. EMA expenses, which don't laugh out loud, is $3,240. I use that to buy the emergency management supplies. We do fire rehabilitation too. So that's to buy snacks and different things for when they go to fires. And they provide those services to other communities around us as well. But we don't have any means right now to recoup anything. So we've had a lot of donations in that. A lot of people have donated stuff to us so we can keep that going. And that's some other things. And the EMA generator maintenance, that is for the generators and such throughout the community.
Right.
Since I've been chief, we've been able to get a generator in every town building.
Yep.
With the help of Todd DeCudo, the facilities guy. It was amazing to me when I first took over that we had buildings that weren't unprotected by a generator. That if, we're super cold, we could lose, at the time, senior center library. Such. That's a pure lie. The Armory does not have a generator, but the water's also off. So don't worry about that. Total department salaries is $3,945,784. You see, it's a decrease a little bit on the right. That's a fictitious number.
Yeah.
We don't know where we're going to end up. The only reason you see a slight decrease is we've had a lot of people retire, new people, and step raises, longevity, vacation time, and stuff. So that's great to see it in parentheses. But when the real numbers come out, that won't happen. And then expense, you can see it went up 491. You see a 45,240 increase on that. That is based upon projections of my vendors and everything, of everything I've already been finding out about, what I can find out with the predictions of what's going to go up. I know some of my bigger ones are going up 5%. I hear
What falls on your expenses?
all my medical supplies, all the stuff, electric heater,
Turnout gear.
Well, the turnout gear I usually do a warrant. I just bought that, but any of my mechanical repairs, you see the different lines, but it falls out of there. Anything that happens at the station, heat, lights, gas.
It's all these.
Yeah, it's pretty much everything. So you see it go up, but one of my biggest contracts I thought we were doing really well with that went down a couple $1,000s, which is with Stryker, which does my cardiac monitors, my stretchers, my stair chairs, and my thumpers, the CPR mannequin device, which actually has a real name, but I can't. Lucas device. It dropped down. And I was very excited, but I found it dropped down because we'll talk about it in capital. My monitors are end of life and they won't warranty. So if they break, we're done.
Yep.
Like we got. That's a challenge that's coming up. So you see it continuously goes up. My medical supplies, and I had a good conversation with a town person today. I'm like, you don't understand. I can't say no. If my fire trucks break, I have to fix them. If my ambulances break, I have to fix them. If they go up 15% on my medical supplies, I still get them. Unfortunately, they have us. It's one of those things. But that's kind of a fictitious number at the moment.
I just wanted to we have a lot of new members as well, but last year I remember there was a discussion about the ambulances that we had. I think we have 3 total, but 2 in service, and the other one
was
a spare. But your goal was, you got this new one coming in, to still keep that and put 3 into service. Is that still the plan?
I'd have to increase staffing at some point.
Right.
But what will happen is, my plan is, one, they're giving us nothing on trades. Like, if they tell me they're going to give me $12,000 for an ambulance, we'll keep it. So what happened last year, and they generously transferred some money at the end of the year because I was having some issues. I had 2 ambulances at one point break. Then the third one went down. One was a turbo, one was the motor, which was fairly expensive, and then was routine stuff. But what had happened is we ran out of 3 of them pretty quick. So I keep one ready to go in reserve. So we run 2 full-time all the time. The spare one in reserve. When we get the new one, my plan currently is to keep the other spare. They're not going to give us anything for it, but that does come with some of the added cost of keeping it supplied. It still has to be inspected and all that. But I was borrowing, stealing ambulances from all over the place. We ended up with one from Hanson, then theirs blew up, and I had to give it back. And at one point, we were really. It was desperate times. We had 1 ambulance for quite a while. And something historically in Whitman, I don't have the statistics with me, but if we do 1 ambulance call, we're doing 2, 3, and 4 might follow. They're busy. And it's just pretty ironic that when it goes out. But we will revisit this once Once the collective bargaining agreement is completed and we know where we're at, so the next page
Yeah, and
is
just again, so you guys are aware, one of the issues too is with the hospital, Brockton Hospital down, everything was a long run. So it took more time, single run was longer time, and it puts, obviously puts more miles on the ambulance.
one of the things that we found is, and I have an engine that's being worked on at Wynot's now because it's got an oil leak. And every time I try and replace a vehicle, I get how many miles is on it. Well, it's got no miles on it. Like it has hardly compared to what I drive. My personal vehicle, it doesn't have a lot of miles on it. It's the hours. These things idle for countless hours.
Yeah.
And to reiterate, we beat the heck out of the ambulances. We were going to Good Sam, South Shore. We were going to Boston pretty regularly. And it's a lot of idle time, a lot of beating them up, and the roads weren't exactly great, and we were just continuously breaking stuff. The ambulances were a challenge last year. Brockton Hospital has helped.
Are they gas or diesel?
Diesel. There's a big push out there. A lot of people are going to gas, and this is kind of a messed up reason. They're going to gas because more people can work on them. I'm like, that's not selling me on this.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, they can go to a regular mechanic instead of a diesel mechanic. Kind of not selling me on this. For the amount of idle time, and the other thing with the mileage,
Yeah.
it gets turned on, it goes in the drive, and it goes. The fire trucks too. Oil pressure comes up obviously and all that, but there's not a lot of warm up time. So they go, they idle,
And then
they go
they
to the
idle
hospital,
for the
and then
call.
they idle
For
for
as
the
long as
call.
it takes.
Exactly.
Right.
And that puts a lot of wear and tear on these. We've really got good relationships in the community now with why not does all my big diesel stuff up on Auburn Street, and we've been using Auto Tech in town because they're local. We've developed these relationships, and I can call up and say, "Hey, man, the ambulance is broken," and bring it up. So it's good to have those in-town relationships. So the next page after that is the breakdown, level funded, just with step raises, to give you the money. Like I said, not to be sarcastic, but it's the numbers, the overall numbers it's not quite there yet. The very next page on that, just for a comparison, and I won't take any credit for this. This was Amy's idea. This is with a 2%. She's ambitious. She goes, let's just give them a comparison of a 2% increase. I don't know that, we'll see where the bargaining falls. So here's this. The next page talks about. You have any questions on that? It's a pretty straightforward 2%. The problem that we run into, and we've had great conversations previous years, but for the new members, even if they get a 2.5% raise with the intricacies of the collective bargaining agreement, it actually ends up being anywhere from about 6, give or take, 4.5 to 6.5. I usually err on a little bit higher because of longevity over time, step raises and stuff like that. You see that change, but we just wanted to give you the comparison on that.
Yep.
It's just for a visual. I'm a visual person. I like to look at stuff. The next one, we did a survey.
So this page, guys.
Yeah. This one. So when I say we, I mean Amy. We did a survey of all the assistants in the area. Because what I've tried to do in the last few years is I'd like to change Amy's title from administrative assistant to executive assistant. And then what we did is she did a survey of all the communities. I think, how many are there, 16?
It's 16 that we used, yeah.
16 communities we surveyed that came back. And then if you skip back down to the third one, it says Abington on it. They were the only, believe it or not,
The other one that
they were the only one that
Back
would share with us.
yeah.
Light community, similar budgets, similar things. And what we did is we went through it and we looked at the job titles and the job parameters. And so we'll get back to the money. I don't really care about that. But if you go through all these things, this is stuff that Amy routinely does. Everything that's highlighted. So really, we hit almost all of them. I think there's 3 or 4 of them that Amy doesn't do that I do. But it's one of the things I'm going to sit with the town administrator and talk about when it comes time, because I think her value to the department is tenfold. She helps me with a lot of stuff. I mean, I think there's a stigma that, oh yeah, she answers phones, takes messages, and maybe does some emails for you. Absolutely not. Nope, she's intricately involved in the operation of the fire department. So we did the average. On that first page, you can see that's what the average are making for the hours, 35 to 37 hours, the weekly salaries, and somewhere, an increase of $23,000 would bring her into the lower end, a middle lower range of all the administrative executive assistants in the area. It's something I've been working on for years, and I'm going to keep bringing it forward, and we'll figure it out some year. Hopefully this year, but we'll see where we line up. I just wanted to give you one of the big things is the documentation, right?
Yeah.
It's great for me to say she comes in, she breaks her tail, she works hard, but now it was time to do the survey, bring a lot of stuff in, and show what she actually does in the week and how vitally important she is to us.
Right, and she's at the back page there, what is it, at 46?
Yeah. You know, obviously, we'll work on it. It's probably going to have to be incremental somewhere along the lines, but we'll figure it out. And then one thing I've taken to the very last page, and we'll do capital, and I'll answer any and every question that you could possibly come up with about Whitman Fire Rescue. The very last page is a letter I received from our medical director, Dr. Muse. We've instituted a process where they come in quarterly and they sit with us. We review policies and procedures, we review calls, we do case review. And one of these things that mostly protects us, to be honest with you, is to make sure our policies and procedures are up to snuff. Yep. And that we've had no issues and that we're making sure that we don't have any issues in the future. So after that meeting, very productive meeting, it was great. He came in November 4th. We sat down. I spent the entire morning with him, and then we did a bunch of case review and stuff. The one thing he brought to my concern, his concern he brought to me was, I have an EMS officer now that oversees 24 paramedics that gets 10 extra hours a week. On overtime, he's a regular firefighter paramedic, but he gets 10 extra hours a week to do this. And his concern, and I'll let you read the letter at some point, but his concern was most departments our size with our call volume and what we're doing have a daytime EMS officer assigned to days. And you can see 100% quality assurance. One of the things that he really wants us to do is to start to review 100% of our calls for policies and procedures in, to make sure that we're good with treatment protocols. He'd like that. One of the things he brought up, education and remediation if we have any issues. And I don't want to jinx me, but since I've been chief and since I was the first paramedic they hired in this community, we have very few issues compared to a lot of places around us. But to remediate those, maintain communication with OEMS. OEMS is a governmental agency that can institute stuff that they just do it. We have to do it. Work closely with the medical director. He works closely with them, but he has the limited availability with his hours. Obviously, you oversee the operation of the ambulances and they're appropriately stocked. Oversee the storage of the Schedule II narcotics, which are real narcotics that we have to maintain, which we do digitally every day, but to make sure in the medication exchange. Provide continuing ed. This is the thing when he brought this up to me. He brought this up to me and he goes, you could get him trained. So we're required to have advanced cardiac life support. We also do pediatric advanced life support. And then some other classes we're not required to do, but ACLS and PALS we have to do. And that is done every 2 years, so we're on an off year. Every year we're doing a class to do this, and we pay a lot of money to have those classes in-house. And it kind of piqued my interest. I'm like, if I could get our training done inside for somebody I'm already paying, it just makes sense to me. Instead of paying an outside vendor. Last year, when did I have the out of body? I think it was $10,000. It came in at $10,000 for one of the classes, and I'm gonna lie to you, I had a pretty significant out of body of experience. I was pretty irate, and I felt we were wronged, to be perfectly honest with you. But it is the going rate, and we were able to do it. But if we could move that to in-house, I think that would be a benefit to us.
So that's Chief. That's something that you definitely want to look at. It's what I do for a living. Is education.
Yeah.
So the way you're doing it the right way. How much is it costing? What would it cost for this role? What would it cost for all that training that takes place? Right. I'd probably come down to a wash.
I mean, I think if we could get all of our training in-house and not having to pay the overtime, I pay 10 hours a week.
Yeah.
So the overtime, the classes inside,
Yep.
and being able to have a tighter control on all this, because I hate that. But I will tell you, if we have an incident in the ambulance, how many zeros are we putting after it?
Oh yeah.
I'm just being honest with you. If there's a significant issue, there's some significant settlements that come out. Yep. And it would allow us to do that. And then, maintain presence on state and local EMS committees. I have them on stuff anyways, and I pay him to go. So the very last page, I broke that down for the very last page behind that. So in order to put the position, I figured it would be a lieutenant. Now, just for the members that haven't been here, I have gone for this position every year since I've been chief. It was a extra fire inspector, then it was an EMS officer, then it was a hybrid. I've tried every way you can figure out. But now with the medical director coming through with this, it kind of drove it home. This one has the figures with an extra lieutenant, so we'd make the day officer as a lieutenant.
Mm-hmm.
But then to backfill that spot, we would have to hire another firefighter paramedic. So that includes all those figures. And like I said, a lot of this is still up in the air until we actually figure out. That would also have to be bargained, just to let you know. So I just can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
That'd have to be bargained and go before everybody else as well. But I want to put it on your horizon because I know we've talked about it in previous years.
That's the G and K.
Yes.
Yep. You have listed there. So the K would be the new person.
Yeah.
They're putting in, and then the G would be, I'm assuming somebody you have in place already.
Yeah, I have a list active, and G and K. Those would be the spots.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with that. I wish I had better numbers. I wish we had a contract in place and the actual numbers for salaries and overtime would be the actual numbers, but we're just not there yet. I'm happy to answer anything. Then we can talk about capital, if you'd like. I didn't bring them. I forgot. I won't lie to you.
It's not our purview. That's the capital committee, although
Yeah,
I'm happy to
I discuss it.
hear it.
I know you guys like to hear about it in the past. It's up to you all.
Where it comes into play is if there's a warrant article, like was it last year, we're looking for potentially a new fire engine.
Oh no, we're still looking for.
Oh, but that's where we would chime in.
Right.
Even though it's technically as a capital committee thing, for the warrant we have to put what's the finance committee's piece.
Yes.
Right. Just so everybody understands.
So I don't know when we'll meet with. I know capital meets Thursday night. I think they're meeting Thursday night to start the initial process. They don't know where their money's at either, but I just give you a 30,000-foot view of it. You can laugh out loud on this one. I put in for a new fire station every year. I do. Yeah, it's cool. I'm with it. I joke.
Floor that isn't sinking.
Yeah, well, allegedly there is some bracing in the basement, but you're more than all welcome. You're all more than welcome to come by at any time you'd like. I put that in every year. The building's a 1901.
Yeah.
I jokingly said I brought Rick Anderson, Kathleen Ortina, and Capital in last year.
Yep.
Second floor was great. They're like, hey, this ain't bad. I'm like, hey, they've done a nice job. We hit the upper ass floor. Yeah, it's a fire station, right? We got to the basement, and I can't say what was said because we're being taped, but they were fairly impressed. They're like, what is that substructure? I'm like, that substructure's there because it's under the ladder.
Yeah.
It's permanent. Someone disagreed with me that it's permanent. It's permanent. We ain't taking it out.
Yeah.
It was engineered. I'm being slightly sarcastic, but it was engineered and put in. I always put in for that. I get it, right? Get in line. The new fire truck, I've put in the request for a new rescue pumper again, like I did last year. So it's gone up 6%, and it's slated to go up 6% this summer. So the 1.2 last year is like 1.536 this year. That's fully equipped and stocked, with an anticipated 6% increase on that. Once this goes forward and we make it to town meeting, and it gets approved, once we sign the agreement that I am going to buy it from
Still
Caffrey,
a year out, right?
Yeah.
It's a year.
No, it's about 3 to 4 years out.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
With the increases?
Order it?
Yeah.
Order it out?
Yeah. So if we order it, we'll lock in the price, but we're
Yeah.
still looking at 3 to 4, 36 to. So they're telling us 36 months. It was 48 months. Now they're saying 36, 38. So let's just be honest. It's probably 4 years from the time we order it.
If and when that time frame comes up, how much do you actually have to put down? Do you have to have the full funding? Or just a commitment?
No, just I'll lock it in with a commitment, which is a signed letter of a commitment to the manufacturer. Once we pick the manufacturer, we have 3 to choose from.
So we could amortize the payments
Yeah.
over a 3 to 4 year period. For the town, just
we don't have to pay for it till it comes in.
Right. But it
we
lets
have
the town
4 years from
not
the
have to
time we
take that
order it
big
to
whack
figure it
all
out.
at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the greatest thing. I mean,
Well, that's part of kind of trying to have a 5-year plan. You know, if everybody has a 5-year plan, you can.
so that's
try
my
to get
5-year
an
plan.
idea.
The ladder was done. I became chief in 21. I don't know, some point, whatever, something like
Time
that.
flies.
The ladder, yeah, right. The ladder was refurbed, so we got a little bit of time out of that. But I have a 5, 10, and 15-year plan done. I'll share it sometime if you want.
Yeah, I'd love to.
It makes sense to me. I'd probably have to have someone look at it to make sure it's it's easily understood by everybody. But at some point down the road, you're going to see the ladder have to be replaced too. We use a regular straight stick, so not a towel ladder with a bucket on the end. Those are around $2 million now. 1.8 to 2.2, depending on what you get on it. Personal opinion, it's going to have to stop at some point. Like how high are these going to go? Like, I don't have an answer for you. So fire station, fire truck, I have to replace my cardiac monitors. They're at end of life. My plan is to replace the 3 cardiac monitors we have. We're looking at 2 different vendors. And also every semi-automatic defibrillator other than the police ones, because they just did a grant a few years ago. So all the town buildings and everything will get new semi-automatic defibrillators, and they'll all be compatible. Working with 2 vendors, that's fairly expensive. You'd be quite amazed at one of those things cost, but that, what else? There was non-structural gear. So the forest fires this year actually wrecked probably 2 to 3 weeks of my life. Like, it was hard. We've never done this. I introduced them. This is Deputy Grasso. Deputy Grasso, say hi. Hi. Sorry. I just looked at Nick. I'm like, hey, it's Nick. You know, it was unparamounted in this area. Like, we were very fortunate on the South Shore. We only had a few. We were pretty lucky. You know, you saw it in the paper, social media. I banned all outside ban burning. Like, I have a right with the fire regulations too. It was very concerning. But one of the things we found that there's this non-structural gear. So it's wildland gear, tech rescue gear, as well as extrication gear with a liner and stuff. And one of the big things with it, and you've probably seen the news, it doesn't contain the PFAS that the regular firefighting gear carries, which we all know causes cancer, as we're well aware of. So that's one of the capital articles in. I'm working on something. I believe I got a grant for it. So that one's probably going to get yanked. I should be able to buy that I will be able to buy that with the grant money. So that one's off the table. And then I'm looking either this year to replace my shift. I have a shift commander that's in a car. It's either a lieutenant or a captain. It's the pickup truck, the utility body pickup truck you see go all over town now. It's getting tired. And my big thing, and we've talked about this in previous years, I'm about replacing like vehicles, like the cars, before they become a problem. That one, I forget what it is. I want to say it's 16 or 17, somewhere around. I'll have to look. There might be older than that, but it's starting to rust out. What is it? You have one of those Savant mines. What year is it?
The pickup?
Yeah.
I think it's a 19.
19. So we're coming up on 5 years now. The problem, same thing. It idles all the time. It goes on every single call. It gets tired. And we hand them down too, though. That will not leave. That'll move in and I'll become a service truck and stuff. Right. But I think that's all I got for capital. Like I said, I'll pull back the fire station. I just do because I do. And
Mine sometime.
the pump. Well, I God forbid anything ever happens there, such as it falls down or something. I can just say, you know, I tried. You know, and to be honest with you, the reason the station is still the way it is, and like I said when I had Rick and stuff there, I actually got him to burst out laughing. I go, 1901 is not the address. That's when I was born, right? You know, when I was built. The hats off goes to the members. They've kept that clean. We've maintained it. The projects that have been done. We're still working on our kitchen project. It's been the bane of my existence since I got it voted in a town meeting. But like, it's the testament to them. They've kept that place clean. We've done the stuff. We've kept it up. You know, this place too. I think this building we're in now. I think it's 1904. Mm-hmm. It is a testament to what they built back then too.
Like, since 1908. Yeah.
Right.
I'm keeping it going.
But
I have bracing
but
in
they
the
built
basement.
stuff. But that's where we are at the budget. I have not talked with the town administrator. I know we'll sit down at some point.
Yep.
But that's a 30,000 foot view of where we're at. You know, I know the expense budget. You're like, ooh, it costs money to. I said this to Mary Beth. I go, it costs money to do business, and those ambulances, like, hopefully, we've seen our transport times decrease and our time away decrease, but yeah, just to build upon it. Last year when I was in here, I was fairly frustrated. I think you guys knew, because I was losing ambulances for an hour, 2 hours at a time. There was a system in place at a hospital on the other side of Brockton who remained nameless because we were being taped, but fire alarm was announcing 90-minute wait time. So when the ambulance got there, it was 90 minutes from you got in the door till they took the patient off your stretcher. So I had cruised there for hours, like having lunch. You know, what are you going to have lunch there? You know, it was difficult. Way better with Brockton being open, you know, but the ambulances still took that abuse. I checked on it. They can't give me a definitive. It's supposed to be a 25 chassis for the new ambulance, but when that gets in, that'll give me the flexibility of the reserve. I have a reserve engine too. I don't see, when we do the other engine, I actually don't necessarily see getting rid of that one either, if they're going to give us $18,000 for it.
What do you achieve for as far as revenue-wise, billing-wise, collections?
What?
Billing, the revenue-wise, see, I got asked this the other day, right?
Yeah.
How much how much will the ambulance generate this year?
Yeah.
So, sarcasm, it's one of my great points,
Yeah.
right? How many ambulance calls am I gonna do?
What's that?
How many ambulance calls are we gonna do? It's an unknown, right?
Yeah.
We do, what is on average, 1.2?
1.2,
Two.
1.3.
We recoup 1.2 to 1.3. We bill out significantly more. I have a policy that I'm not gonna chase. With the right circumstances, we get a lot of hardship letters, and I'm not sending a little old widow to collection because she can't pay her ambulance bill.
Yeah, you guys go to the insurance companies like Medicare or stuff like that? Because Medicare
Yeah.
gives you allowance, was a one run or a year or a
Give or
year.
take.
Right.
The thing is, we do another a project that I forgot to bring up. We do the CPE project, and we didn't add this into your survey. Amy does the CPE project, which she can tell you what it stands for, but Citizen Performed. It's based upon the Medicare reimbursement.
Right.
So she spends weeks gathering all this data. It's everything: staffing, hours, supplies, time, and she puts it in. And Medicare adjusts our bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's billable and allowed.
What was it, 143 last year? Last year we got 143 extra $1,000.
Yeah.
And last year, I won't lie to you, I tried to get it.
Yeah.
I wanted every single penny of that because it was going to be my day officer.
Yeah.
But it's not countable. You can't count on it. We billed it out this year, and what was it? Like
72.
It came in at 72.
What happened?
So I don't know. It's all the same. Part of the problem you got to look at is how many. We're doing a ton of runs. How many people have insurance?
We'll make it less though, right?
Yeah. What? How many? And like I said, the billable runs. And like I said, we went up, so we're going to be short an ambulance. When I come back, don't be surprised. Ambulance billing, unless I can take it from. We have two buckets. Obviously, we get the 2 buckets, and I can take it from other places. Last year, it was the well ran dry. But the big thing on that is maybe it'll be more. Maybe they'll adjust it up. We went over it and over it. I don't know why, but they have adjusted their rates as well. So maybe it's in comparison, because I know places that we're getting a lot more money than that. I'm like, well, if you're paying us that much money when we're done, like your prices are off. You know, that's the biggest thing with
You're
Medicaid.
doing more runs than last year. The revenue's down. There's gonna be a question on that. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know,
And that's the
It
problem.
used to be you guys make real money at it. You know what I mean?
We still make the real money.
Yeah.
One of the things I want to do this year is see what we actually bill
Yeah.
and what we get back. Like I said, I think I wrote off 200. It was almost $200,000 last year. But you get a little letter, handwritten. You know, she's lived in the same house since 1980. You know, however long. She don't have the money. And, you know, when I have a widow or someone, a little old man show up and want to pay me $10 a week for the rest of their life for the ambulance run, I'm all set. You know, no, yeah, I've run that by council and everybody. I'm not going to send a little old lady to collection. I'm just not going to do it. You know, like it's wrong. You know.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see with the change in ambulance billing rates to see what it goes up to, and we're going to need a year or two to figure that out.
Wise decision, because I used to work in the collection business. Some cases you have a little old person that's got health issues, they can't deal with a whole lot of stress.
Correct.
If all of a sudden a bill collector calls them up, they have heart palpitations. Guess
Oh, the ambulance.
Go the another run.
Let's just
It's gonna end up in the taxes.
they're going to call a lawyer and sue
call a
you.
lawyer.
They could. You know.
I'm in the healthcare industry. I deal with insurance companies every day of the week.
And you know what's their main goal?
Get paid.
Yeah. And or not to.
Someone
Yeah.
just wrote that down on 3 bullets, actually.
Or yeah, I
That's
saw
what he
that.
wrote.
I mean, the thing you got to look at too, right? Is it's a case by case thing. We send them. I think they get notified. It's something that's saying like, is it 8 times?
I think it's at least 6.
It's 6 or 8 times they get notified and they don't pay. And then, do you want to send them to collections? A lot of times I go back through to see where we're at. That being said, it's a giant. There's variations, right? You know, I don't have a Lamborghini, and you do, and you don't want to pay your bill. You know, like some choices we made. You know, but we do lose some, and that's one of the analysis I want to do over the next few years to see where we're at, what we're actually billing, what we're recouping. I know towns around here that bill over $2 million, but don't get back nearly what we get. So it'll be, and the variation is how many calls are we going to do. And I say this every year, I have to say it, once we get the budget done, we can come in and have the serious conversation about where we are once it's done. But just always be advised that, like, we're usually a blizzard or a couple, 3, 4 fires away from me, like, coming back from money. It's that tight.
Yeah.
It's that tight. That being said, it's supposed to be windy tomorrow night. Pick up your lawn
Oh, yeah,
furniture.
yeah.
Like, pick up your furniture. But anything?
No.
It's like an open book.
A couple of things that you kind of brought me to think about. One was we have a new neighborhood being put in, right?
Which one?
That, all that new work down by the T station, right?
Yeah.
That's not next year; it'll be done, but it's right.
Are we hypothetically talking about Pond Street?
Yep.
Okay, that's cool.
So, but that's
approved yet.
adding. But you know, it's.
So,
I'm assuming it's going to continue to go through, but that changes the dynamics of the town just from a pure numbers.
Yeah.
And similarly, you mentioned the height of the ladder truck. We've seen taller buildings now, right? I mean, it used to be,
Yeah, so-
just the center of town. Any kind of forecasting or thoughts that you have about how those things might affect?
so we stick with a 100-foot aerial now. And historically, I get a lot of grief. Why do you need such a big truck? Well, because that's the NFPA standard. We get a 100-foot aerial. We can reach all of our buildings in town for the most part.
Right.
You know, it comes a certain point where you take that inherent risk on yourself if you decide
Plus,
to live
even
on
if you
the
do mutual aid too, right?
Yeah, we go all
Look at
around.
over in Hanson.
Those new buildings on Main
They're
Street. and stuff.
building by the tracks.
With 100, we can hit those roofs. Myrtle Ave, for the most time, was the highest building in town. We can hit that. It gives us the opportunity to make those rescues. So I stick with 100 foot. We will always have to stay, as long as we're in that fire station, with a mid-mounted area. We're limited on what we buy because of the angle of the ramp. It has to be a mid-mount 100-foot aerial that goes in, because when they were here and they had transits up and there was engineers here and, it's like, this person went to a really good college. You're like, it ain't gonna fit. Like the bucket on the end, on the rear, if it's a mid mount with a bucket on the rear, or if it's a rear mount with a bucket on the front, that station, it will not fit in there. It's too long. Number one, it'd probably end up in my office.
It was like Braintree, right? Didn't they, when they bought that ladder truck? Didn't fit?
Yeah.
It wouldn't fit.
Well, I'll share this with you. 2 predecessors ago, we affectionately call him Tim 1. When they bought that aerial, he said he woke up in the middle of the night right before it got delivered in a cold sweat going, oh my God, is the floor going to hold it? It's a 1901 building. If you want to see pictures of horses and stuff in a firehouse, please come by. They're all over the place, and it's our firehouse. It's the one you're standing in, which is actually pretty cool. But that's when they had the structural engineers come in, they did the floor, they looked at the rebar, and just as a assurance date, they did the, we'll call it a substructure in the basement. The ladder weighs 80,000 pounds. It's a heavy truck. I think, it's 80. So that's where we're at with that. So yes, it'll always be, as long as we're in that building, it'll always be 100-foot mid-mount aerial, because that's what fits.
I'm just thinking, we're seeing some taller buildings being put up in town, and it's something that needs to be considered, right?
Well,
If they decide.
You already have reached, you're already past what you need, right?
So I'm at 100. I think they have them up to 110 now.
Right.
It
Yeah.
depends on height and stuff.
Which is how many stories?
Roughly 12 foot a story. It's
Yeah.
10 story.
You don't have anything.
Yeah.
No. It's usually 10 to 12 feet for 10 commercial.
So 7 or 8
12
story
12
building.
commercial, 10 residential. But, we're in that area, and let's be honest, the town, we're running out of room. So at some point, what's going to happen? They're going to go up, but then we go into high-rise operations. We already have the stuff for that for like Marble Street, Myrtle Ave. We have kits set up that we can get the hoses up to the floor and go into operation with that. As far as that, okay. So the old fire station, the East End's for sale for $1 million. I actually sent someone an email and said, hey, the old fire station's for sale on the East End. Now it's the same vintage as this one. I was kind of being semi-sarcastic. Kind of serious, but kind of sarcastic, right? At some point, and if the train traffic was to ever increase, because obviously the old train station was there because the freight trains used to go through. I don't know that we'll ever see that again, but who knows? That old station. Could we see an impact down there? Yeah, if you put a couple hundred apartments in there, you'll see an increase in services. There's formulas, and Deputy Grasso is the code enforcement guy, commercial guy, and there's a formula. Like if we do an over 55 community, I forget what the factor is. I want to say it's like 1.5. Don't quote me on that. That's how much per unit. That's how per complex. That's how much we're going to increase. We are running out of room, but there is future. There is every time I think they couldn't possibly be building anything more.
You should
Stuff gets built.
You should see where they just take
Swamp
off
land to be filled.
on my street. So I live on the corner of Dewey and Alden. And right across the street, they're putting a house, it's a 60 by It's the front of it 60 by 100. It's like an old lot. And it's been abandoned. You wouldn't even know. It's just between two people's houses. Now they're staking it off, and
You'd be amazed. I was pretty amazed at where they.
you'd have to get a special permit. I thought. It was
variances.
90. I thought it was 90.
Yeah.
This is 60 feet.
Couple of
So
frontage.
yeah,
No, it's more.
90,
No,
isn't it?
I thought it was 120, but I'm not sure.
It depends.
But
You can do a small home. You can do a small home now too.
Where I'm living,
The wheels on it,
it's
all
20
feet
feet.
on it.
Yeah.
to the property line.
Well, I'm thinking they're gonna go
the
up.
big thing too is you got to understand. There's still some old towny families in this town that still own some land.
Yeah, 16 acres just all across, down Alden,
Yeah.
back right by the train.
And you would never think that was there.
Yeah.
I mean, not to date myself, but even Pleasant Street, that's an old farm. That goes all the way to Beach Hill. The old timers are hanging on to it, but they're not going to be here.
Right, yeah, who knows
Not
for the next
forever.
generation.
Is on the railroad.
Just
track
look at
there?
Harvard Street.
I mean, the thing that is
Near the railroad track we talking about?
the thing that amazed me is the call volume.
Across from me.
We'd have
yeah.
better. We would have
Yeah,
better
yeah.
tracking and
Yeah.
tracking if it wasn't for COVID. COVID killed.
Killed it.
I shouldn't say that. COVID decreased that call volume because you know what? Nobody went to the hospital.
Right.
That was a pretty shocking thing to us. We've picked up a lot. I think you see, like I said, keeping the 2 spare ambulances just because I'll never be without an ambulance again. I mean, there are added costs for maintenance and stuff, but that was horrible. But in the big picture, could we run a third one eventually? We would need more people, but yeah, there will come a time you might not be on the committee and I might not be fire chief, but you'll probably see 3 ambulances and more people at some point.
Sure.
To provide the services, because I'll use the example tomorrow night, 60 or 70 mile, I gotta go to a conference call after I leave here, but 60, 70 mile an hour winds. So here's the thing to think about. If we have a major incident in the area, we'll just call Hanson. We'll just call East Bridgewater.
They're dealing
We'll call
with
them.
stuff.
They might be dealing with their own thing. My thing is resiliency and being able to deal with stuff on our own. My concern is if I was ever to try, I have 6 members per shift now. That allows me to get the 2 ambulances out, but then I have to initiate recall because I want at least three firefighters on the truck in case you call up and your house is on fire. I would like 4, but it happens. But so I'm still heavily reliant on recall. That we recall people all the time, and people have lives. We have a younger department again.
Yeah, you do.
They have kids.
Yep.
They're starting their families. Like
Yep.
my kid lives in North Carolina. I have no issues. You know what I mean? Like, but if you got a couple little ones at home, they might not be able to run in. Wives are working and stuff. So at some point we'll increase in staffing. But our system right now, I'll tell you, sometimes budget wise, they've been here around a long time. You might look at it and go, it works. it works for us.
Or even though adult kids, what about grandkids coming into the picture too?
I don't know. That's just going to cost me more money. That'll just cost me more money. But I'm an open book. Like if you have questions, if something comes up or you have an idea, I mean, Al's called me, Chuck's called me, just call. Like it's not a big deal. I'm pretty available.
Just one question. Do you guys, the bargaining, is everybody coming to the table yet? Hopefully, in the past, we've had the hours before town meeting have a ratified contract,
We have not started
second.
yet.
You have not started.
We have not started yet. Now we're coming into the holidays. I think all 5 are up, right?
Yeah.
All 5 unions?
Yeah.
I think?
Yep.
I think all 5 are up.
My understanding.
Yeah.
It's a tough cycle.
Yeah. We were trying to stay out of it. But, I think,
I guess the 30,000-foot question is, will we have a contract by town meeting?
yeah.
Try.
Yeah, we're gonna try. We're gonna try. See where we're at.
All right.
All right, cool.
All right.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Have a good night.
Bye, Amy.
Bye, Al.
Yeah.
See you later.
Thanks, guys.
One of you was
I did.
okay. I talked to you the other night.
Yeah.
I got in trouble, okay?
Talk to both.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Take care, all.
Take care.
All righty. Good questions or anything that you guys have? So like I said, the capital stuff doesn't necessarily come to us unless it gets to be the warrant, and they're looking for the finance committee's perspective on it. But he's got a bunch of stuff, and it has been put off a few years now. So sooner or later, it's got to happen.
Yeah, when you're on the committee for a while, you'll remember, oh yeah, we talked about that last year or 2 years ago. And you got to start somewhere, and eventually, sometimes, it gets through, and depending on priorities and money, obviously, but yeah, it happens.
It all seems just like a foreign language right now, but by next year the light bulb come on.
So,
Yeah, but it was interesting about the expenditures or the income that they were raising $500,000 or $600,000 a year with their income with the ambulance. Now it's down to nothing.
Right. Is it worth is it worth it? Why we even there's ambulance services, right? What's the difference in an ambulance service and a?
Well, you got to bill it out. If you don't bill it out, no one's going to pay you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It depends. Like your insurance, like Medicare will pay, I think once a year or something like they'll give you an ambulance ride, and it's like $3,000 or $4,000.
Do all towns run ambulance services?
Yeah. Well, not all.
oh, no, not their own. Not
Some
their
of them
own.
outsource, it's like
Well-
register and all that stuff like that.
I mean, I don't remember what last year was, but quite a few years usually wind up around $700,000-800,000.
Now down to, what do you say?
I don't know if whatever that quote was.
Yeah,
Maybe
down.
he was
They're
not.
still, right, they're still waiting for
Well,
payments.
I tell you, we used to get we can ask town administrator, but we used to get a better view of that, on a regular basis on how much they project for the year.
I thought you said you built out 1.2, 1.3.
It billed out about two or two and a half, but received about
So it's
1.2.
got C
Was
So-
it 200?
Yeah.
No,
So basically, we're receiving 50% of what we're billing.
Right.
Yeah.
50% is not good.
No,
Not but previous years. No, they were doing a lot better at it.
Well, I heard previously.
I thought he was saying 2 million was a different town. I thought it was.
No,
What was it previously? 800,000? Is that what you said?
no, it was more than that. More than that, wasn't it?
I thought they said it was 1.2.
Yeah,
I thought you said,
1.2, yeah.
1, 2.
Well, I think if
Two something.
the information's out there, could find out the historicals on it, over the years. Even Mary Beth might be able to help
But
with
it's
that.
off significantly. And if you're looking for more equipment, your revenue's down. It's like any business.
He said he wasn't billing out that much because he's not getting, he's writing a lot of it off.
He said
He
this,
said he knows towns that are getting 1.2, 2 million, but they're not getting anywhere close to that in return.
yeah,
Oh,
He said
historically,
he doesn't
historically
cry.
we have been something we didn't
We're-
bill
we're-
out.
yeah.
We didn't do it. So if I ran a department, I'd run an big
Basically,
office.
Medicaid gave him like 60,000 or something like that. That was it.
this year, he says it's way down this year.
Right.
Which
Opposed
I-
to 100,000 in the past.
Yeah.
Right. 120.
140 last year, he's
Yeah.
at 72 this
Yeah,
year.
Yeah.
120, yeah. It was, again, you don't know. I mean, what's the situation, what happens?
Just to be filled up, that's all.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, where does it get picked up on the back end, anyways? Where's it covers it if we're not getting it from them?
Write it off.
it's kind of a catch-22, right? So if you look, these positions are firefighter / EMT.
They're going to pay.
Right.
So they're either working the ambulance or they're working the fire truck,
Call.
as opposed to some towns have dedicated EMTs or paramedics and they are
Right.
not firefighters. So now you've got more staff. And, so he's built kind of a hybrid model here, which is a little more efficient to do.
What do you outsource it?
That's nice.
But as an EMT and a firefighter, your pay is
Yeah.
up there as well.
They're all paid paramedics. Most of them are paramedics, correct?
I think there's only I think
Most of them are all
Yeah,
paramedics.
they all are.
Do they all drive the ambulance? No. Oh, that's what you still pay for the paramedic rate, which is fine.
Yeah,
Can
You
you?
know,
they're all firefighter paramedics.
so
there's one EMT I thought I saw,
for one.
I mean, if they-
which I think is a brand new person.
Probably, yeah, down there at the end, yeah.
Yeah. Which again, a lot of times still,
And
new
then
people they'll hire maybe, and then you've got to
And
get
then
your
they'll
license.
get their license, yeah.
Right.
So,
Who are you waiting on?
That's it.
That's
So, as far as
Quick meeting, huh?
meetings tonight,
Yeah.
we moved off.
Kids not sleeping already, probably.
Ours.
Okay, Bill.
Oh yeah.
You should go down and meet with them.
Yeah, I know.
The whole thing.
Oh yeah, he's,
Oh, that's what I wanted to ask. Would that building be built on the same location? But
Would be, yeah.
they need more space. It would be sad to lose that 1908
We have
building.
the building behind
Yeah.
it too.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
thing-
the armory that's behind it.
Mike, did we have the treasurer coming in or no?
no. So so the treasurer has moved off.
Okay.
Just trying to
Did you get a call? Did Chief Hanlon respond to you?
I did not hear anything with the police.
I reached out to him last Wednesday with Tracy. I talked to her. I gave him a schedule. I said, like to, obviously we'd like to have you guys meet with us. So I'm just waiting to hear back. So I'll give him a call. I'll call Joe Bobbitt tomorrow.
Yeah, let's. I gotta look and see. I don't know that I've got my current one. So the yeah, we originally had the.
You guys.
We originally had the treasurer collector was going to be tonight. Now, I talked with them. They're brand new. They've only been in the job for like 3 weeks or something like that. And they are trying to put together some of the records. They're not, it wasn't a clean handoff is what it sounds like to me. So I've moved them off to, I think it was the 28th of January. I sent out the updated schedule. So I said, here, take a month. They're like, well, we can do it in a week. You're stressing already. I don't need you to stress. It's Christmas. Go, no big deal.
Who's this?
This was the treasure collector. So next week, we have the meeting with the select board. It's right down the hall here. That's at 6 if you can make it. We generally go in there for half an hour, 45 minutes max.
What is that next week? Mike?
That's next week,
Yeah.
17th. 6 o'clock, confirmed. So that's next week, and then we come over here, we do our normal kickoff. We have building department and special services and the assessor. And that's at 7:15 and 7:30. So again, shouldn't be too late an evening for us. We have confirmation in January for Recreation Department on the 7th. I'm waiting to hear about the Highway Department, the DPW for Highway and Tree. I have the Water and Sewer is confirmed. Then we've got kind of a busier night on the 21st with Board of Health, Library, and Facilities Manager. South Shore VOTEC is the 28th. And we got the confirmation on the treasurer collector. So I'm still trying to shuffle things around, but do keep a look at that sheet. If the schedule shows them in yellow, I don't have a confirmation from them. So that's the ones we got to kind of nail down. And
Have you talked to DPW?
I'm gonna try again. I honestly, I've got one that's mine that I'm supposed to talk to. I've sent multiple messages to. Have heard zilch back.
Bruce?
Yeah.
So, part of it I think is to end of the year and everything else. People are trying to get their, my head's not at work either, so I get it, right? Mm-hmm. But we want to try and firm all that up. My plan is next week I'm going to give all of January's meeting notifications downstairs. So we're booked for next month. And as I said, Ralph, you weren't here, but we did hear from Kathleen. She's feeling much better. She's not home yet. She had a few complications after the surgery, but she's hoping to be home this weekend or soon.
That's good.
But she will not be joining us really until,
January at the
I'm
earliest.
thinking it's going to be, somewhere a little later.
Jeez, you'll have more experience than her when she comes back.
No, never. No. She's too good. She's too good.
Put that in the minutes, will you?
Yeah.
No.
It's in there.
Don't want to cause
You
conflict.
can remember, everything's in there.
All right, so let's see. So we have no minutes to vote on this evening. Elizabeth is not here. She's out on a vacation, which is perfectly good. So we'll take a look at the minutes for last week and tonight when we get that, maybe next week. But again, it depends on Elizabeth's schedule. I'm not too worried about them. Reserve fund confirming we have $35,000. Remember, that's if someone comes in and says, hey, I've got an extra bill or something, we have to look at that. We're judicious in how we do it, but it's money that we can deal with directly. Other old business. So subcommittee reports. I haven't heard much other than I got a DPW building committee report from Rick Anderson. I'll forward the entire thing for you to take a look at it. But, bottom line here is they are moving along pretty good. They're Concrete foundation is at 96% complete. Steel is up. Light gauge metal framing is at 80%. Exterior walls are at 70%. They're ongoing doing the electrical work within the conduit and the boxes, et cetera, going in. Plumbing is at 90% underground. Interior is ongoing. Radiant floor is overdue at this point, so that's, but a little chilly too. So they're going through, they're paying out money as it's coming in. They do have a couple of change orders that have come in for various little things as they're going through the building, which is just part of putting the building up. But bottom line is, it is moving where they wanted it to go. So that Rick, again, a formal thank you to Rick Anderson for doing that.
Last time he said something about the work. They were concerned about the work, the type of work, that the work was shoddy. Wasn't that there was said in there? There was concern of some type of the exterior.
I don't know. I don't remember that one.
Was it in the report? In one of Rick's reports?
You read it last time. That there was some concern with some of the exterior on the building. It's the type of work, or how it was being done.
I don't remember that.
No, expected, yeah.
Is this all on
That's just what I do. When you said that, I was wondering what was going on. I was waiting to hear what the outcome was of
Hard to do. Let me just see if there was anything in it.
Somebody probably just walked aside and see.
I don't see anything in his report about anything.
Previous report? Maybe?
I'd have to go back and look, because he basically does pitch once a month.
It's not this report. It would have been in the last.
It would have been,
It would have been the last.
it would have been
It was the last one.
beginning of November. I'll take a look and see on that one.
Special doc.
There's no notice here about other
The work's
than,
not complete yet, so
it's not complete.
done incorrectly.
Yeah, I mean,
You
the,
gotta,
It's got to be complete before it's incorrectly
yeah.
done.
Somebody sees
Completely
somebody in the middle of
incorrectly
doing
done.
something and says it
No.
doesn't look right. Well, the rest of it's not there.
yeah, I know they have had, and they're still testing the soil as they're working, because it was there for 100 years, and people weren't careful about where they get rid of oil and stuff like that, and then they found it while they're out there, so they've had to remediate some soil that was not, I don't think that was in the original plan.
And the reason 96 is there is because you can't fill on everything yet.
Yeah. So, but that's it that I have there. Anybody have any other old business to bring up for us?
Make a motion to accept old business.
What's any other things to bring up? If not,
I have just a little bit of old business here.
yes, sir.
This goes back to November when Kathleen and I went to that town meeting for all of the finance committee members, Mass Mutual Association.
Oh, yeah, yep. You guys went out on that.
Yes. I've got a list of everybody who attended. Second page, last from the bottom, you'll see Ralph Mitchell, Kathleen Otina. And it was $65 we each had to pay, and here's my canceled check showing I paid.
You get reimbursed?
That's what we reimbursed for.
Selectman's office, right?
No, I think we go through treasurer collector. But since,
Probably, yeah.
yeah, but I thought I'd
That
bring
comes out of
that.
Selectman's
Okay.
budget though, right?
Well, it comes out. Well, we got
There's a training.
$3,000 out of our budget we never used.
Well, if we got 35,000, we'll help you out with that.
Yeah, I don't think we have a specific training budget for the finance committee.
No.
There's
No,
a
we
training
just have,
committee, a training budget that's underneath the
The Selectman's office,
the
right?
town administrator, I think.
No, it's a Selectman.
Is it selectman?
Yeah, Selectman,
kind of same. Well, let's look into it though, but
All
I
right,
do
I'll-
remember Kathleen saying it was covered, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Mileage and everything, you know?
Question of where it goes.
No, I just want to ask if the tuition is to go there because it included
Yeah.
lunch, but still it was.
You would go there for lunch, wouldn't you, for free?
For $65.
Yeah, that's a great lunch.
Believe me, legal seafood. This was not. A little half-assed deli sandwich.
Yeah, I can see that. All right.
Oh, shoveling.
65.
Times two, because there was two of us.
Oh, they probably showed off more than that. Shove on there.
All right, I will follow up with Mary Beth and Kathleen in the meantime. I'm only including Kathleen, just so you know, I'm CCing her on everything,
Oh, yeah.
even our stuff,
Yeah.
because she does like to read it, but I'm assuming she's not going to reply to anything. But I know that she wants to kind of see what's there.
See what's going on.
It's it.
Know what's going
She's been heavily invested, so
Yes.
she's
Yes.
still, you know,
Yeah.
even though she's,
She's still the boss.
yeah,
So,
even though she's, battling.
but Mary Beth has been
better.
outstanding at getting me back information right away. So that's been good. All right. The only other thing, I put out a call to the IT department, our IT team. One, to try and confirm their timeline for us in February. We've got their session. But I also put in a query about having like a file share someplace. So all this stuff that I'm sending you through email, I'd rather put it in a file share and say, here it all is. So then we can just have one place, all the documents are there, and we don't have versions in everybody's.
Dropbox.
Yeah. So I said, I'm waiting to hear back from them about what's the process or the policy that we have, but I think we desperately need that.
Yeah, that would be nice too, because I think Mary Beth, she has quite a few budgets in, and I thought she was going to share them.
So she has, and I've got some of them. What I'm trying to do right now is send you the ones that are relevant for what's coming. I feel there's no point in giving you something for a February meeting.
Well, no,
But if you'd like,
I
I
would
could.
say, in my opinion, from in the past, it doesn't hurt to have it, because even getting it last night, the Chiefs, I did have a little bit of time to look at it today, but I don't think it hurts to put it out there. If people want to look at it, they can look at it, and it might get a bring a question up in your mind ahead of time, give you a little more time to look at it, and
Yeah, I think I've looked at these more after the meeting.
yes,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've looked at. I haven't. I've had.
Yeah,
I had
it-
10 minutes tonight after.
and when you present,
but a Dropbox would be great.
yeah,
So let me just check with
I'm sure
him.
IT's going to be all over that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think there's any harm. Ricky
I've
even used to
talked
do
them.
that too.
I've been talking to them. They're like, yeah, they'll love that. I'm sure.
It's a Microsoft shop, so they've got either that or a SharePoint server. I don't care.
They're going to be coming to. They were actually. I was talking to one of them about our security, like our actual security. How they're going to be coming and asking to up our security for data and everything in town. How far we are behind for.
Oh, for us, like cybersecurity.
Yeah.
We are not even close.
In close. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am sure of it.
Yeah.
As-
And with what's happening now, people are getting held hostage.
Yeah, well, they
They're
had the
held
incident at the
ransom.
high school a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very expensive.
I mean, they're shutting hospitals down.
Yeah.
Hospitals down. Hospitals are having to pay.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's crazy.
it's crazy. It is crazy.
Yeah.
And there's no guarantee that they'll release your stuff afterwards either.
Well, right. And
I mean, they're anonymous in the first place. It's,
we're talking about a budget. We could be not having anything.
yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right,
That's it.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Yeah.
Okay. 8:02.